Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this really cute Candy Hearts cup cozy. This is a really simple and quick little gift to make, or you can make one for yourself. And it's a perfect little item to make for Valentine's as well. It's a plain, easy to crochet band, and then I've added these one round hearts to kind of add them all the way around if you like. The circumference of mine is 10 inches. However, you can change your starting chain to make yours wider or narrower depending on your own cup, and it's very easy to do that. There's no special stitch counts. And the one round hearts are about 1 inch wide and tall, and then this is about 2.5 inches tall. And again, it's very easy to do. We're going to be using some basic stitches, and I'm going to show you how to do each one. So let's get started. For this project, you're going to need a 5.5 millimeter eye crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and you'll also need your yarn. The yarn I'm going to be using is just some cotton dishcloth yarn, and I grabbed a neutral color. This is kind of an ecru, like a natural off-white color, but you could use white, or if you have a favorite color, even a light pink would work for this. And then I grabbed some colors for the hearts. Now I have here some hot pink. You could do some purple, red, white, just kind of like Valentine's colors. Also, alternatively, you could do rainbow hearts. If you're making this for a gift for someone and their favorite color is blue, for example, you could do all blue hearts or something like that. So just, these are the colors I chose. Just feel free, to use any colors you like. So I'm going to be using this for the actual cup cozy, and then we'll be using these for the hearts as well. So let's get started. We're going to begin by making the coffee cozy itself, and then we'll add the hearts on last. So to begin, for the sleeve or the cup cozy, we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. So to make a slip knot, wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind that loop, reach in with your hook, bring up the loop, and tighten. Our starting chain is 28. So to make a chain, we're going to wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. So here is our starting chain. So next we need to join this so we can begin crocheting in the round. So in the chain farthest from our hook, so if we go all the way to the end here, you'll want to insert your hook into that last chain, just like that. Now wrap yarn around hook, bring it through that chain, then bring it through the loop already on your hook. So we're joining with a slip stitch. Okay, so now that we've joined, what we're going to do next is chain 2. 1, 2. Now we have this tail here that's hanging down. We're going to kind of hold this along the edge as we work, and that will weave that in as we go along. And that will save you a step at the end. So we're going to work a half double crochet in each chain all the way around to make the first round of our coffee cozy. So to make a half double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert it into the chain, bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through all 3 loops on the hook, just like that, okay? Wrap yarn around hook, insert it into the chain, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring through all 3 loops. So you'll just keep going in this manner, working in each chain, half double crochet in each chain. Okay? Just like that. Now, I want to show you a little trick. If you want your edge, so we're working our cozy from the bottom up. If you want to have a little bit of a neater edge, alternatively, when you're working this first round, you could work into the back bumps of your chain. So if you look at your chain, it's kind of like a series of V's. But if you flip your chain over, you have these back bumps. They almost look like a chain link fence. So you can also work into the, make your half double crochets into those back bumps, and that will give you a nice neat edge as well. I have a separate tutorial on how to work into the back bump of a chain. If you're interested, I will link it up to this video if you'd like to peek at that. Okay, so what we're going to do is just work half double crochets again in each chain all the way around. So I'm going to keep going with mine, and when we get to the end of this round, I'll show you how to join and begin the next round. Okay, so I went ahead and worked my half double crochets in each chain all the way around. I just have one more to go. That last chain of our round here. So I'm just going to where we began here with this chain 2, I'm just going to insert my hook and join with a slip stitch to close the round. So it should look something like this, just a narrow little band at this point. So what you want to do for the rest of your coffee cozy, for each round after that, again a total of 8 rounds, so this counted as 1, and then so we'll do 7 more. So you'll just chain 2, same thing we did before, and then you'll just work a half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Now before we worked into the chain, but this will be into each stitch. So we're just doing a half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And then when you get to the end, we'll do the same thing. We'll join with a slip stitch to close, and then we'll continue with our rounds. I'm just going to get a little bit more yarn here. Okay, so we're going to keep going and just keep growing your coffee cozy until it gets to be 8 rounds, and then we'll rejoin again. Okay, so I've been working my cup cozy. I'm on the 8th round and I'm almost done. I just have one more half double crochet to add, and then I'm just going to join with a slip stitch. And this looks really pretty. Has some nice texture, and it's a perfect blank slate to put all these fun little hearts all over. Okay, so I just joined with a slip stitch to close this last round. Now I wanted to mention too, and I think I may have mentioned this earlier, if you need a wider cozy for a different sized cup, I'm going to be using this cup here. So I made it to fit this cup. If you need yours to be a little bit bigger or smaller, there's no special stitch count. You can make your starting chain as big as you like or small as you like. Just when you're making your starting chain, just kind of wrap it around the cup just to get an estimate. Okay, so we're just going to fasten off. And then I want to weave in the ends. So I have an end where I began, actually, I have an end, just the end that I wove in, that's just what was left over from it. So what we're going to do is grab your tapestry needle and just thread your end here, however many you have, or trim what you've woven in as you went along. And then just weave that end right in with your tapestry needle. I like to go in one direction with my tail, and then I like to come back in the other direction, and that helps to hopefully lock it in place and keep it from popping out. That's a question I get a lot on the Fiberflux blog, like how to weave in ends. Okay, so then just trim with your scissors, and then you can do the same for the other tail. And then turn it right side out. And now we're ready to begin putting our hearts on our sleeve. Okay, the next step is we're going to make the hearts for our cozy. Now you notice I made a few already in our colors. And I even found a little bit of this purple yarn too, because I thought that looked nice with everything. They almost look like little candy hearts. So we'll later be placing these on our coffee cozy, just kind of in like a kind of a random sort of whimsical way. And the only color we haven't used yet is this hot pink. So I'm going to make one to show you in this hot pink color. And if you also notice, I have left the tails intact. What we're going to be doing is using these tails to actually take the tapestry needle and use that tail to sew it right on. So when you make your heart, leave the tail right on there. Okay, so let's move these out of the way for a little bit, and then we're going to just get our hot pink yarn here. This is a heart that's really tiny and quick to do. It's done in one round. I have a whole separate video on just how to do this heart if you want to watch that as well, and I can link to that. So we have our bright pink yarn. So what we're going to do is that with the same eye hook, we're going to put a slip knot on our hook, just like that, and tighten. Then we're going to, and as a side note, these are going to be worked in the round, okay? So go ahead and chain 4 to begin. 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the chain farthest from the hook, insert the hook into that chain, bring up a loop. Now bring that loop through the loop already on the hook. What I like to do is, before I begin, just kind of open up that opening so you can get those stitches into there. We're going to be putting lots of stitches into the center of this ring. So first we're going to do a double crochet into the center of the ring. So wrap yarn around hook, insert into the center of the ring, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops on your hook, just like that. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops on the hook. I forgot to mention this too. Like we did with the cozy, we're going to hold this tail along the edge as we work, and that will take care of that tail as well. Okay, our next stitch for our heart is the treble crochet. So we're going to wrap yarn around hook 2 times, insert it into the center of the ring, bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the next 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops on your hook. Then you can notice if that I'm pushing these over as I work. We're going to do another double crochet. Then we're going to do a slip stitch. This is going to create that kind of divot form in the top of the heart. We're starting here and we're kind of working around like that, okay? So work a slip stitch into the center of the ring. Now we're ready for the other top portion of our heart, the top left of our heart. Okay, so do a double crochet. When you're doing these tiny little projects, you just have to go slow and steady. It's a lot of stitches in the center here. Okay, so we're going to do a double crochet. I'm going to get a little bit more yarn, and we can push that over if need be. Then we're going to do a treble crochet, again into the center of the ring. Same thing we did before, it's just mirroring the other top right part of the heart. Okay, push that over if you need to. And then work a double crochet. Same thing we did before on the other side. Okay, just like that. Now, so this is the top part of our heart. You can see that part is complete. Now we're going to go down the side of our heart. So we want to work 3 single crochets. So insert your hook into the center and bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the both loops on the hook. So that's 1, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets. Now to make that bottom point of our heart, again, push it over if you need to, still holding that tail in place. To make the bottom point of our heart, we're going to do a treble crochet. Wrap yarn around hook 2 times, insert it into the center again, bring up a loop, bring it through the first 2 loops, bring it through the second 2 loops, bring it through the last 2 loops. Okay, and then to do the other side of our heart, coming up from the bottom, up the other side, 3 single crochets. Gets a little snug in there with all of those stitches, but it should be okay if you keep pushing things over as you work. Okay, that was 1, 2, and then this is 3. Okay, so there's our heart. It looks a little lumpy right now. We're going to fix that up. So what we're going to do is, where you begin, just join with a slip stitch to close the round. Okay, just like that. So our heart is complete. Okay, then you can lay it down, cut the yarn, go ahead and fasten that off. Now I made my tail long enough so I can sew this in. You only need a few stitches to sew these on, so the tail doesn't have to be super long. Okay, so now what we're going to do is straighten it out a little bit. Now you notice these have just 1 tail, but mine has 2 tails. There's a tail on the side, that's the one you want to keep. The tail in the back that we wove in as we went along, go ahead and pull that really, really tight. And you can cut that off at this point. We don't need that tail. Okay, so what I like to do is just kind of round out these sides, push that little indent area, push that down, shape it up. kind of pinch the bottom, get that heart nice and sharp point at the bottom there. Okay, so I have 4 hearts. Now I'm going to eventually cover this whole thing front and back, but I think 4 is enough to get us started and show you how all this kind of comes together. So what we're going to do is, whenever I'm sewing something, I like to take what I'm sewing and just kind of lay it out how I want it to look. Okay, so once you figure out where you want your hearts to go, we're going to, remember we had this tail that we're going to use to seam it. So you just want to thread that tail, figure out where you want it to go, and then just come right in. And you just need a couple of well-placed stitches. Just come all the way around. Now sometimes we like to glue these things right on, but I would say in this case it would be best to seam these to your project, to just stitch them right on, because if you have a hot beverage, it might interfere with the glue's ability to work and to hold it onto your cozy. So in this case, I would definitely sew these little appliques right on to the piece. Okay, so I'm just coming around. Whoops, my little tail fell off here. And I have just enough yarn just to get it around here. Let's go. We're going through a couple layers here, so it can be a little bit thick. Okay, so I'm just coming right around. Now, my tail popped off again. I want to show you a little trick. When you have a short, actually it didn't pop off, but when you have a short, let's say it did, when you have a very short tail, and it's a little bit hard to get it through, which this might happen with some of these hearts, insert the needle in first and then thread the tail in. Instead of threading the needle first, insert the needle first and then take it through. And that's an easy way to get a very short piece through. So we had just enough of a tail to guide it through. And then you can just put a little knot on the back for now. And I'm going to just take my needle through. I'm going to just kind of loop it around one of these stitches on the back side. Spring it through like that, and then just tie it off. Okay, then we can weave this in later. But our little heart is attached, and you can again just kind of shape this up if you need to. Okay, so let's put the next heart on. These look like little candy hearts. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and sew these other ones on. We still have our pink and our red, so just kind of place them wherever you want them to go. Now you can make your hearts more dense than this. You could just put one heart on. It's totally up to you, however you want your little cup cozy to look. If you're making a whole lot of these, then you can do less hearts. I wanted mine to kind of look like candy hearts. So I wanted several of these kind of Valentine looking colors on mine. Okay, so I'm just going around, the same thing we did before, just all around this little heart. And when you use the tail like this, you don't have to worry about the yarn not matching. It already matches, it's the same exact yarn. Okay, make sure that point is nice and sharp. Just get that sewn right on. We have just enough yarn to get us all the way around it. Okay, and my tail popped off. That's what happens a lot when you're using smaller tails. Okay, so again, we're going to fasten this off. Just come around one of these loops in the back here and just bring it up under it. Again, see how mine keeps popping off? You can just come underneath first with the needle and then thread it. And that's a little trick to kind of get into a spot with a very short yarn tail. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sew on the rest of my hearts, and then we'll rejoin in just a moment and see how the cozy looks, and we can even slip it onto our cup just to see how everything comes together. So again, I'm going to just go ahead and sew on the rest of my hearts. Okay, so I'm all done sewing. It looks very cute with all these little hearts on it. And I have my cup. We can go ahead and just slip this right on. And again, you can make this any size you want based on your own personal cup that you're using. So it'll look like that once you get the little hearts on. And that's it. That's how you crochet the Candy Hearts Coffee Cozy. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.